Hello guys, today I'm going to do a video on GTA 5 with the RTX 4090. We're going to be starting it off with 1440p at the very high settings. Alright, I'm jumping into the settings. We're playing the game at 1440p and everything else is set to its max value. There we are. Looks good. Let's jump into it. Alright, so GPU is fully maxed out. This is a good sign. You don't want to get bottlenecked by the CPU. And FPS is sitting in the 150s up to the 170s. I've also seen it go as high as 180 to 190, but that's the engine bottleneck, and the game will start stuttering at that point, so it's honestly pretty good that it's staying below that. And this game surprisingly is still very intensive on the top end if you max everything out. Whoa! That's not a good start. But if you max everything out, this game will be very taxing on your GPU and CPU, so even though the game is, what, like 7 years old at this point on PC, it's still very intensive. Now let's go ahead and drive down to the highway area near the coast. There's a little grassy area that will tank your FPS completely. I want to see what we can do with this card. Hoping for 100 plus experience still, but it might be too intensive. Driving up. Ooh, we're falling below 100. Even 80 FPS at times. That is kind of intensive. Now I'm pretty sure if I disable... Oh, look at this, look how laggy it is. Now I'm pretty sure if I lower MSAA to 4x, we should see a pretty decent FPS bump. So we're getting around 80 to 90 FPS in this area at 8 times MSAA. I'm going to go ahead and lower it to 4x. And what you look at that, getting 160 FPS. So you can see that the game is super taxing for no reason at all. The game doesn't look any different with 4x MSAA versus 8 times MSAA. I mean at 1440p anyway. And FPS is far better. We're getting 60 plus extra FPS, even at this point, like 70, 80-ish extra frames. I said flames, but I meant frames. So yeah, I think I might test that both at this point. Just have everything at max settings with 8 times MSAA, and then have another preset where I bring it back down to 4x, and have a more realistic preset, and far better performance as well. As you can see, we're sitting at 130 to 150-ish FPS here, even 170 at times, whereas before we were getting around 80 to 90 FPS. So it's a massive improvement in your performance with very little quality cost. Alright, now we're in GTA Online. We're going to be getting absolutely CPU bottlenecked. So, not going to be seeing the best performance on the GPU side of things, but let's see what we can do. Still running 4 times MSAA. Oh, it's snowing outside too. I forgot about this. Kind of cool. Look at that. Still dropping down into the 90s. GPU sitting at 40% usage. This mode, man, is so intensive on the CPU. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The car's sliding all over the place. I kind of like it. Ooh. 4-wheel drive, but still sliding on snow. So at this point for GTA Online, you're going to need a better CPU. 5000 series Ryzen, or at least one that isn't the 5800X 3D, isn't going to be giving you the best performance for online. Still going to be sitting in the low 100 FPS range at max settings. I guess we could use 8 times MSAA and make it more intensive on the GPU, but again, the quality difference isn't really a lot. Now with 8 times MSAA, we're getting 80% GPU usage, so much better, but does the quality look any different? I don't really see it, to be honest. Maybe it's a slight bump, but I don't know. I would avoid it, to be honest. The grass here is still very intensive. Even in the snow, it looks actually quite different as well. But yeah, GPU is fully maxed out at this point, sitting at 96%. FPS is sitting at 103. If I lower the quality of MSAA to 4x, we're still going to be sitting at this kind of frame rate, but GPU usage will be lower. Alright, and here we are with 4K at the very high settings, or max settings I should say. Jumping to the settings one more time. Can't really go because the menus are lagging. Classic GTA. Here we are, everything is at its max value. And again, once more, if I lower the MSAA value, we should see an extra 40 plus FPS out of the game. So, just keep that in mind. At max settings, this game will be very intensive, sitting at 50 FPS, down into the 40s as well at times. Wow, this card is not handling it super well, is it? Really want to see how this game runs at 8K. It will be incredible, because I think with a 3080, getting 20 to 30 FPS, I believe, getting VRAM limited, I think. So, with the 4090, that shouldn't be the case. We have plenty of VRAM. And this card is far more powerful as well. It's kind of sad how we never got the next gen update on PC. We're still running the PS4 version pretty much. While on PS5 and Xbox Series X, they got ray tracing in the fires and shadows, I believe. And we get none of that here. So It's kind of unfortunate. I'm still hoping they will add it at some point, but knowing Rockstar, probably not. The game does feel a little bit stuttery at this point. FPS is kind of all over the place, going as low as 45 all the way up to the 70s. This area will be super intensive. Here it comes. Get him away. Oh my god, 42, 36. So intensive, man. What if I, hold on, let me go take a look actually. No, it's off, okay. Sitting in the 30s in this area. I mean, what could we expect really? So yeah, in this area we're getting what, 30 to 40 FPS, very intensive. But again, I'm gonna go ahead and lower the MSAA value to 4x. And now with 4 times MSAA, we're sitting at 90 FPS. Did you see the massive jump in terms of performance? It's crazy, really. It is really crazy. Alright, let's go and drive back down. We're going to be above 60 for sure at this point. This area is super intensive on the GPU, and we're still able to hold above 60 FPS no problem. Do a little switch trick there to land me on the road. And now on the road, we're getting 103 FPS. Here we're getting around 70-ish FPS. Around 60 to 70-ish FPS in this area. And now we're sitting at 100 to 115. So again, like a 40 to 50 FPS jump, but it's lowering the MSAA value from 8 times to 4 times. GPU is fully maxed out at this point as well, which is good to see. Because at 1440p, we were sitting at 50% GPU usage, I believe. Stop calling me, thank you. But at 4K, this is where the card really shines. GPU is fully maxed out. FPS is doing great. So I assume this game would run the same as what it did before at 1440p. But at 4K, we're getting worse performance, sitting around 20-ish FPS lower than what we had before at 1440p. But even then, we're still above 80 FPS, so I think we're fine there. Alright, going up this hill now. 80 FPS still. Okay, 70. So we lost about, what? Like 10 FPS, a little bit under that. Still way above 60. Great performance all around. Alright, and playing the game at 8K, we're getting 20 FPS right now. This is with 4 times MSAA. I'm not gonna dare use 8 times MSAA with this. We'll get like 10 FPS. Okay, I think at this point I might have to lower the quality a little bit to maybe high settings. Because right now, getting 20 FPS at 8K doesn't really seem very playable. But wow, this game looks so sharp, it's incredible. Oh, we got a street racer here, guys. Whoa! What is he doing? There's a shootout? What is going on? Okay, he just got headshotted. Holy. That cop did not care. Just immediately pulled out his gun and shot him in the head. Alright, driving through the city now. Still sitting in the mid-20s. Not much has changed. The game looks insanely sharp at 8K though. Holy, this looks amazing. It was already incredibly sharp at 4K, but 8K is a whole nother level. Game is so unresponsive, but it's kind of crazy. Getting a lot of pop in as well on the end of the road there. Yeah, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. Whoa, getting 30 FPS in this area. Let's go. Feels way better at this point. Way better. Okay, dude, come on now, man. What are you doing, bro? So far at 8K, we're ranging between the low 20s all the way up to the high 20s, sitting in the 30s. Whoa, this area is so laggy. Oh my god. 16 FPS. 14 FPS. I'm sitting at 14 gigs as well almost. Ooh, this is pretty rough, man. But we can always bring it down to the high settings, which is what I'm going to do right here, and see how it runs there. Alright, and here we are with the high settings. There we are. Perfect. Let's continue. So, at the very high settings, or max settings I should say, we're getting around 20-ish to 30-ish FPS. Mainly sitting at 25 to 29 FPS. It's not very playable, the game was feeling pretty laggy for the most part. In the highway area, we're getting 30 FPS, which was far more playable, but wasn't very consistent. We were falling into the 20s quite easily.
That's dumb luck right there.
But at high settings, we're sitting at, okay, that's bad driving on my part, not even the game. But at high settings, we're sitting at 49 to 50 FPS. Pretty good, to be honest. The game is feeling far more responsive than before. Driving up here, we're getting 30 FPS. Ooh, okay. With some dips into the 20s as well. Not really amazing, but not too bad either. But yeah, this card crushes 1440p gaming, 4K gaming, all of that. No trouble at all. You can easily get over 100 FPS. In online, it's a bit worse, obviously. You're going to be losing around 20-ish FPS over your campaign counterparts. But even then, you're still going to be getting over 60 FPS. No issues at all. I think that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next video. See you guys there.